Hello everybody, and welcome to the Wench Bench, where friends sit and talk about fabulous fictional females and how their stories have influenced us throughout our lives. My name is Alison.
And my name is Fonda.
And today, Fonda is going to be talking about a couple fabulous fictional females from a manga.
Yes! So, the pronunciation of the series, I'm going to do it slowly so people can hear it. Kanojo ni Naritai Kimi to Boku.
Cool. Super glad you didn't have to say Super glad I didn't have to say that at the beginning because I would have messed it up.
That's okay. So some general information about the manga before I talk about the characters, because there's more than one, and the series hasn't been out super long in English translations yet.
Okay.
I feel like if I had completed the series, I probably would have just picked one, but it was like really recent for me, and I really want to talk about it. So
Yeah.
It's a shoujo manga, and it's written and drawn by the artist and author Takase Umi. It was released in 2019 and is a part of the following genre categories. Drama, romance,
Yes.
slice of life.
Yes.
Love that last one. So the Japanese title, this isn't the official manga translation title because at least where I've seen, it's not published in English volumes yet.
Okay.
So I don't know what this series will be called in English. But in terms of translating it from Japanese to English, it is I Want to Become a Boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you speak Japanese.
Not well or fluently, but so long story short, took 3 years of Japanese in high school.
Okay.
I wasn't able to take it in university because it just wasn't offered for the 2 years that I was looking to take a language, so I took German instead. But I lost all of my Japanese because I just didn't really have anyone to talk to or converse with.
Yeah.
But since I've become a teacher, I was like, I'm going to teach Japanese again to students. So I've been getting better. I feel like I'm not where I want to be, but in terms of like looking at words and translating basic simple sentences, thankfully a title is a simple sentence. I can do that.
Awesome. Yeah. It's more than I can do, so.
The manga's online English description is as follows. Hime Sakura Gaike has secretly been in love with her childhood friend Akira Yonezawa since they were kids. But Hime only recently found out that Akira identifies as female. Although surprised, Hime offers her full support, and this is initially kept secret between them for a few years. But Akira decides to start living as a girl, starting as soon as they enter high school. However, since Akira garners a certain amount of attention, Hime takes it upon herself to aggressively stick up for Akira whenever necessary. Not wanting Akira to be singled out as an object of ridicule, Hime decides that her only option is to put herself in Akira's shoes.
Okay.
I don't think this is the best summary description of it.
Okay.
In my opinion, because it makes it sound like Hime is choosing to quote-unquote become a boy just because of her friend Akira. Mm-hmm. So I personally have a little bit of an issue with that.
Yeah.
But that's the online English translation that a lot of fan sites use.
Yeah.
So it's the one I'm going to use just because...
And well, some things can get... Subtleties and things can get lost in translation pretty easily.
Exactly.
So...
I don't know what the exact translation for it would have been in Japanese because I didn't see it. The manga itself has a lot of female characters that I like, and instead of talking about just one, I'm going to briefly talk about a few of them individually, and then explain why I just happen to really like the manga because of them.
Yeah. And then maybe in the future, when there is more, you can just pop back in and be like,
oh, hey, that. Here's an update.
Here's an update.
Before diving into it, though, I do think it's important to say that I know culturally Japanese LGBTQ plus culture is different from other countries. So for some Western fans of the Japanese manga, and again, some, not all, I have heard that they don't personally like the manga because of how some characters are represented in the story. And I am not a trans woman, so I do not know what it's like for Western fans who are, or those who are lesbian and bi or pan, to pick up the story and read it and feel perhaps there's not enough accurate representation of their own personal experiences. But I did dive into a lot of Japanese reception, and I asked a few colleagues to translate a couple things because they're better at translating like kanji, like more in-depth written Japanese than I am. And the reception from them, from the fans in Japan, was that they enjoy it. They feel that the experience of theirs, maybe in high school or elementary school, is being told, and that this is one of the many recent manga that are being made to represent LGBTQ stories at the forefront from a Japanese cultural lens. And again, this isn't all. There are actually, if not more, Western fans that I think enjoy the manga and its representation than those who don't. But even then, those fans that I do see reviewing or discussing the stories aren't coming at it from like any sort of like dislike or hate of the manga.
Yeah.
Just that it's a story they can't connect with.
Yeah, and like it is good still to have a critical lens on things so that we can grow and everything, but it is also important to, as you mentioned, take into account the cultural lens that comes from something that is not only having to be translated language-wise, but social structure-wise, which is very different.
It is, 100%. And in my opinion, the manga itself is a sweet slice of life manga that portrays the struggles of LGBTQ people, but in a way that isn't depressing.
Cool.
Yeah. Before I get into the characters, I do want to put it out there that I'm not going to recap the entire manga because I think those interested should read it. I'm also not going to dive into a lot of the LGBTQ plus aspects of each character because I'm not far in the manga because it hasn't all been translated. So I don't want to talk about something that might not be correct yet because maybe the author has more to give.
Yeah.
So I just hope me talking about the characters and why I like them helps understand what I'm trying to get at without diving into something I can't fully explain or give information for because it's only something I can only read so far with.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
It's not over yet. It's still something that's going on.
Yeah, and, hopefully somebody will stumble upon this and then find it for themselves and be able to also, like, get into it and stuff, too. So
I hope so.
That's kind of what we hope with a lot of these episodes, is we're bringing other people back to something that we love.
Yeah. Or that we just found that isn't finished.
Yeah, exactly.
So the characters.
Yes.
We're going to talk about them.
Yay!
So the main character, Hime Sakura Gaike, the story is told through her perspective, which is an interesting one, as though I won't discuss them, she has her own struggles and experiences that she tries to navigate alongside her friend Akira. She's young, again, just entering high school, and starts off having the typical manga trope of, I support my friends, I love my friends, and I will do everything for my friends, which is great. But as the series grows, with how far I've read, she is starting to learn how to deal with her own emotions and thoughts and views on herself and others. She's very forward and blunt when it comes to defending and being there for her friend Akira, but she holds a lot back when it comes to her own feelings. And it was nice recently seeing that change for her as the series progressed with how far it is for me. The thing I like most about her, actually, was her willingness to learn and how she started to develop some good introspectiveness. Something that I wish I had more of when I was young and in high school.
Yeah.
So I really valued seeing her take each experience with stride and realize, hey, I can still be there for Akira, the good and the bad, but I need to focus on myself, and it isn't selfish to do so.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of nice. In terms of what I, as an individual reader, got from reading the manga thus far, is I viewed her as a young girl traversing through all these experiences of other people and figuring out what she wants and who she is as a person questioning their own identity.
Yeah.
I can't say what she for sure identifies as because the manga hasn't gotten far for me and it hasn't ended as far as I know.
Yeah.
But it's clear early on that she has a crush on her friend Akira, who is a trans girl.
Mm-hmm.
And as I read more from the start, I definitely believe that Hime is queer. How she identifies herself and what the author has planned for the story is still something I look forward to reading as she navigates her own queer identity. Because the title of the manga in English is I Want to Become a Boy.
Yeah.
And the main reason she does that is because her friend Akira is being picked on for being a girl when she was born a boy.
Yeah.
And she decides to take it upon herself to be like, no, I'm going to wear the boy's uniform and I'm going to, like, be there for Akira. And, like, I think her heart was in the right place. But I think through it, she realized, like,
It kind of showed her something that maybe she didn't even know about herself.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or I also like the idea of just generally challenging gender norms. Because fuck them. And yeah, like, I think that's really nice that it's just like, what's the big deal about what clothes I'm wearing, what uniform I decide to put on. And it's nice that she decided to stand with her friend and support her.
Yeah. The next character is Akira Yonezawa. So though the story is not told in Akira's perspective, the character herself is vocal about her experiences, struggles, and feelings. Something I appreciated while reading, because I'm not going to lie, I was nervous at first that the story wouldn't focus on this young trans woman's experience.
Yeah.
In a vocal or insightful way, just because she isn't the main character.
Yeah.
But the author and artist has done so far a good job, in my opinion, representing Akira as a person. What I really like about Akira as a character is her courage and the sensitivity that she bears when showing her emotions, both happy, sad, confused, and angry. Because even though Akira as a character can be timid or shy, she's very courageous when it comes to working through her own experiences that she hasn't had to deal with before, like having a crush on a boy, arguing with Hime when they have a misunderstanding, and then trying to realize that Hime also has struggles, and Akira also needs to be there and learn for her sake, because Hime has always done it for her, and she's like, my friend has just as much confusing things to deal with that I do. And, you know, each day, each new chapter in the manga that I read, Akira becomes more confident in herself and her identity as a woman. And that confidence helps her inform and teach others as the series goes on.
Oh,
And
that's
it really,
nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, she has a lot of struggles to deal with. I don't want to dive into them all because I think it's important to read it because you can kind of see and hear it from the character lens. But, like, I have no idea what it's like to be Akira. You're just entering high school, being like, I'm going forward with my identity as a female.
It's already, high school already sucks enough.
Yeah. So
it's already confusing enough. It's already like, there's raging hormones and rude high school people, and it's already a lot. Like,
and cultural expectations, family expectations, like, there's a lot. So, like, I really commend her to be brave. Right? Like, for some people, they're like, oh, you shouldn't just have to be brave. But it is, like, it's to be confident in an aspect of yourself in high school is difficult. Even as an adult, there's things I find difficult to, like, be comfortable with at the forefront of who I am as a person. And it does take an amount of courage and bravery to be like, even if I might feel slight discomfort. Or even if I know I'm going to be extremely anxious or have anxiety, I need to stick to these things that are important to me. And Akira, it's for her, it's like, I don't care what other people have expectations for me as. I'm doing this for me, even if I don't know what's going to fucking happen. And I really think that's nice.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I do too. The last female character is Yuka Ishiyama. Now, it wasn't immediately that we as readers got to know about Yuka's personal story, besides being a new character that they met in high school and became friends with. But Yuka herself actually helps Hime and Akira a lot with probing questions and statements that allow the two focal characters of the manga to think more and have an introspective look on a situation or a feeling that they might not have if Yuka hadn't been there to listen and also respond with like insight and questions of her own.
Yeah.
Which, like, you need those people in your life. You can't just have people that... It's great to have someone who will just listen when you need someone to listen. But you also need someone to be like, I'm not going to agree with everything you have to say. If I have something I think you need to hear that I hope will help you, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
And I really like that about this character.
Mm-hmm. It's good to have somebody challenge you or even just push you to look inward for the whys.
She does that a lot, which I really like. Later, though, at least where I'm currently at, it becomes clear as to why Yuka is so insightful and is also able to help her friends because of that. She ends up telling Hime that when she was in elementary school, she was in a sports team and developed a crush on one of her friends and teammates. Oh. Sadly, her experience with opening up to that friend about her feelings wasn't a positive one and was really emotionally hard for her. But she viewed that experience a few years later as having been an important one because it helped shape her into the person she is now, which is a high school girl who understands that she has feelings about other girls. And they aren't bad or something she should be ashamed of because she wants to experience having crushes, falling in love, and getting her heart broken, even if it means other people might not reciprocate the feelings because she's being true to herself.
Yeah.
Which I think is so sweet.
And I think that kind of experience is common, even if it's not necessarily with a person who is the same gender as you, but that experience of those like first loves and those crushes and being shut down, and you can let that hurt you or hold you back, or you can grow from it. And it sounds like she chose to grow from it, which is a really hard thing to do.
Especially for high school.
Oh god, yeah.
Like, I don't know what high school students are experiencing right now. I imagine it's a freaking lot more because of all the other things we have going on. But like, I really find value in her, not only for the support she brings to the two focus of the main characters, but also for herself and what she brings to it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, yeah, she knows that culturally not everyone is going to be accepting of the fact that she likes girls. And there's going to be people in elementary school, like, for all we know, like, again, I don't know, the series isn't long, but what if that girl realizes she also had a crush, but she was denying those feelings because she felt it was wrong or shameful.
Yeah.
And how she acted hurt someone else who was just taking the chance to be like, I'm expressing these feelings because I don't know what they are yet. Like, that's also something, too. I'm sure there's tons of people who have denied themselves an experience or feeling because growing up, they're second-guessing something and they're being like, no, like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Just because society or other people are telling them it's not okay or it's dirty. Like, I don't know, like, this whole character is just like, no, I want to have these feelings.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be ashamed of them.
Yeah.
And I hope that maybe there's a character that comes up in the series who is learning from perhaps old shameful feelings they had and navigating through it, because that's an experience too, I'm sure.
It's an experience that I went through. And that's the thing that I do enjoy about these kinds of stories of sort of self-discovery is that in a world where there are so many labels and there are so many things like that, it can be even more confusing to then try and figure out what it is that you identify as. So in an already confusing time, in an already confusing world, you're now having to try and fit in there when a lot of times nobody necessarily fits into that mold. There are shades of gray in all kind of feelings and sexual orientation and gender identity. It's all a journey, and it can change and it can morph and it can be different things, or maybe you 100% know, maybe you're just like, yeah, this is what I am, and it's like, that's fucking amazing. But then some people are like, oh, this is what I am right now, and it's so cool to like, it's just nice that we're getting more stories, and it's cool to see that it's kind of a universal experience.
I'm going to talk about a bonus character who isn't a female.
Yes.
But I think very important for the manga and for these other female identifying characters. This character in particular helps mainly Hime and Akira throughout high school, and also opens up to Hime about his own experience with love and what love is to him, is Sasaki sensei, their teacher. So in one chapter, he opens up to Hime about his experiences of being different from other people as he grew older. And even now, his family doesn't understand that he doesn't feel romantic love.
Okay.
He expressed how he had a hard time when he was in high school figuring out why he didn't have crushes or love, and at first attributed it to not finding the right person. But as he got older, he realized that he loves differently. And the reason he wanted to be a teacher was to help and be supportive for students that needed an ear while navigating their own struggles and problems.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
In hopes that he could help someone like how he needed at a time in his life.
Aww.
I know! It's really nice! And though the author hasn't stated any official information in the chapters I've read, again, there's no legal or official translation for the series yet, in regards to his character or how he identifies, myself, and after diving and like getting some opinions from other Western fan comments and stuff like that, view Sasaki sensei as aromantic and asexual.
Okay.
The way he described to Hime his experiences growing up and his feelings with love and relationships really feels like that is how he identifies, or that is the type of representation the author wants in regards to him as a character, because he talks about how he just doesn't have romantic love, and he has love in other aspects, but he just doesn't hold that kind of, and he's not seeking that kind. So I don't know, I just think he's important for the story. Because like so these high school kids are navigating it, and here's an adult that's your teacher being open about their own experience and being like, it's okay to love how you choose to love, and it's okay that's not normal or the same as someone else.
It's okay to be confused about things and to work through it and to experience things, and oh, that's so cute.
So I really like this manga. For all the female characters that are present, there are more that I haven't talked about than just the three, but these three were important to me as I read the series. Same with Sasaki sensei. The teacher in me really appreciated the role he provides for her students. And his individual story, I think, added a lot as well.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not caught up. I'm unsure if the manga's done. But from what I'm able to read so far, I look forward to seeing where the author takes the story and what other characters she could bring and what they might represent or hold for the story and the main characters. And oh no, this manga I personally would have loved when I was in high school.
Yeah.
The story isn't just about love and crushes. It's like a true slice of life experience, and I believe it holds a lot of value.
Yeah. And just like it's gonna be a fucking drinking game. But just how many times can we say that representation matters in this show? Because it does. Like, just giving people of all ages the opportunity to read stories about other people who are either unlike them or like them is extremely important. Providing that connection and that ability to empathize with our fellow human beings is like vital to our world, like, existing happily. Like, there's right now, like, there's so much hate and so much bad things going on, and it's like, we need connection, we need understanding, and we need empathy. And having stories like these be accessible and be out there for people of all identities and of all ethnicities and across the world is really important to just have empathy. Fuck.
I know. I really like
an open mind, like, just open yourself up and enjoy it.
And it can be hard.
Yeah.
It can be, especially if you're worried because you won't understand. But understanding that you don't understand something is okay as long as you try.
Yeah.
Or take baby steps.
That's like one of my favorite things about my partner, my husband, my love, is his favorite thing is I understand that I don't understand. So when I'm going through problems, like as a woman, problems that I have figuring out my own identifying things, growing, changing as a human being, as somebody who does that and who is kind of looking back on her past and figuring things out, he just listens when I need him to listen. And sometimes that's all you have to do for your friends or for other people that you know, is you just have to listen to them talk through some of their problems and just be like, I understand that I don't understand. Like,
and then show that you're gonna try.
Yeah. Or just be supportive about it. Like, I got an IUD, and I went super fucking crazy for a while, because hormones are hard. And I was, like, crying and angry and mad, and it was, like, 3 months of just, like, feeling like I had no control over myself. And he just sat there and, like, dealt with it and was like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Like
having anyone that can be there to help you traverse.
Yeah.
Even if there's I understand that I don't understand, but then like, I don't know, having supportive people who fucking just try, even if they get it wrong, and then continue to try off of their mistake. I hold value to people who just try.
Yes.
And it's okay to fail. Failing, F-A-I-L. F, first. A, attempt. I-N-L, learning. You can't learn without failing.
Fail forwards.
Yeah, fuck.
Learn from your mistakes. And oddly enough, where my husband learned the lesson of I understand that I don't understand was from fucking South Park.
I've heard about that, actually. Adam's the fucking same. Yeah. He's like, Fonda, South Park has a great quote.
I can't remember the story behind it, but it's
I've never watched it, so I don't
South
know.
Park of all places.
You know, you can find gems in really rough
every once in a while,
rough places sometimes. Diamonds in the rough, as they say. Yeah. Yes, that's why I like the manga.
Yeah.
And those characters.
Yeah. So, like, how did you find this? Like,
the manga?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious how you sort of stumble upon these things, and if other people are looking for, like, sites or something, or maybe you follow somebody who liked it or whatever.
So I would always recommend, if you can't physically buy the book, sometimes if you're able to afford a subscription, Crunchyroll, you can read English translations, Spanish translations, whatever translation you might require. It might not be in your country yet, depending how popular it is. But Crunchyroll is where I read a few manga that were in slice of life. And as I was, like, looking to it, because one of them ended, and I was like, no, what am I gonna do now? And so I was trying to find other ones that people, like, recommended, and then someone said that, unfortunately, you can't get the translations, because there's no official translations yet.
Yeah.
On Crunchyroll, there's a website called mangadex.org, and it sources a lot of manga. If there's ever an official translation, it sends you to that website to be like, if you want to read it, go there.
Yeah.
So you're never getting like illegal ones. If there's official ones you can get.
Cool.
And so they recommended it to me there, and I thought that was like great. That's how I found it, was just through me looking at comments on another manga series I liked, and people being like, hey, check this out. It's really good, because I finished one which is also really good. The Japanese manga title is, I just want to fucking double. Okay, so the one that I finished reading is called Ao no Flag, which means blue flag. The main character is a boy named Taichi Ichinose, and he finds himself in the same class as Futabe Kuze, who he feels strangely adverse to, and is his popular childhood friend, Tomamita. One day, Futaba confesses in him her love for Toma and asks him for help. And as you read through it, you realize that, like, not only does Taichi really like Futaba, Futaba starts to like Taichi back, but there's two characters who are queer represented. Mm-hmm. And the main popular boy in the manga that everyone loves is gay.
Oh, okay.
And he loves Taichi, the main boy. And so it's this... The main male protagonist is trying to figure out how to navigate that when he finds out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad, a little heartbreaking in some ways.
Yeah.
But when it was over, I was like, I really want another nice... Like, this was a good story.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like it because some people felt it hit too hard for home in some cases. So they stopped reading it because it was, like, a little too emotional.
Yeah.
Some people really liked it because it still held value. But, again, this is, like, more stories in Japan are starting to come out that have more representation, and I wanted more, and that's how I found about the one I'm talking about today.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So Ao no Flag is also good. I recommend it, for sure.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Alison, before we end the show, what are you excited about right now?
What do I want to pick?
I was like, I have so many things.
I do. So... I'm excited because I've started reading, I've started logging back into, like, my webtoons again. And so there's two little webtoons that one I just completely finished, and one is currently still an ongoing series. I kept getting ads on Instagram. That were these, like, Greek god-inspired little, like, snippets, and all of the gods were, like, basically one color.
Oh, what's that called?
It's called Lore Olympus.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really popular.
And I was like,
read it.
I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna fucking read it.
Should I read it?
It's really good.
Okay.
I like it. It's kind of like the beginning sort of reimagined love story between Persephone and Hades.
Oh.
And it's really cute, and kind of the way that they sort of embody all of the different gods and goddesses in like their kind of one color, and just the art style is really quite interesting and very stylized. Mm-hmm. There is some sensitive content.
Oh, okay.
For anybody who is thinking about reading it, it does get into a little bit of... There is discussion of sexual assault, but the artist does do a good job at making sure that there are trigger warnings and things like that beforehand. I do believe that they deal with it in a really good way. And it's just so cute watching her and Hades, and like she keeps her hair cut short, but like when she gets excited or something, her hair grows really long. Just whoosh. And so like when she's happy, it's just like growing, because like it starts off with her... Essentially, her mother is trying to get her to be a virgin goddess, but Persephone, as some people might know, is a fertility goddess. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like this new origin story for Persephone, where she's like discovering her like sexuality almost in a way, and discovering her like... or her sensuality, like who she is inside, and how like as a fertility goddess, like you exude life and happiness and like all of these things. Mm-hmm. But then she's dealing with like pressures from her mom trying to like be like, no, you have to be a virgin forever. Which
That sounds hard if you're a fertility goddess.
yeah, it's pretty tough, but like they're kind of hiding the fact that she's a fertility goddess because like her mom's very protective of her.
Yeah.
And so it's really cute, and it's kind of like
her mom is Demeter.
Yeah, her mom's kind of a big deal.
She, like, the whole thing in Greece to explain the seasons changing is like, oh, Hades took my daughter, so I'm really emotionally going through something, so trees leaves fall off and it gets cold.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of this big deal, and it's very cute, and I really like it.
Okay. I'll have to look it up. You said webtoons?
Webtoons, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other one I've told Fonda about before, but I wanted to bring it up on here. It's called Boo, It's Sex.
Yeah, she's brought it up.
And just because we were talking about, like, the manga that you were talking about has a lot to do with sort of with like gender identity and coming to terms with who you are as a person. This little web comic, it's like 90 installments, and it is surprisingly comprehensive sex education.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Just from the little bit Alison showed me, I agree. It's kind of like nice.
Like, and I think it does it in a very fun way where it's not like ever bringing in shame or anything like that, but it also does it with good representation. There's queer representation. There is they touch on asexuality. They touch on having a healthy relationship with sex, however it is that you choose to interpret that. It's basically a ghost in a sorority house so a bunch of college girls move in and they find this ghost in a tequila bottle, and she's a dead sorority girl whose ghost is now trapped in the house. And so she like takes it on as her mission to teach these young, confused women about how to safely explore all the different facets of sex, and it's so fun. And they talk about like all these things that I never learned about in sex education, like in school, and it does talk about STDs, it talks about consent, it talks about, you know, your body and the makeup of your body and sex toys and like proper ways to deal with like complicated relationships and whether or not you want to have sex. And it's a very cute, fun way to look at it. I think more people should read it because I am always a huge proponent of more comprehensive sex education for people of all ages. Yep. And I think it's done in a way that if you do have younger children or whatever, that they could read it and they could enjoy it, but they could also learn a lot, which I think is extremely important. And it's fun. It's so fun.
We love learning.
We love learning. And the sorority girl is just so funny. She makes jokes about being dead all the time. Oh, she's so good, and I love her so much. Aww. So, yeah, a couple little webcomic suggestions, a couple manga suggestions, and...
Just out of curiosity, why do you say manga instead of manga?
I don't know. I'm white. I think because I didn't have a lot of friends who were into it.
Oh, okay.
And so... growing up, whenever I would read it, I literally read it as like a white person would read it.
I did too, starting out, so I understand that. And then I took Japanese. Yeah. And I was like, I know how to pronounce it now because it's a Japanese word.
Yeah, so it's just like permanently in my brain.
That's okay. Do you remember when memes started being a thing? M-E-M-E?
Yeah.
I did meme. That's how I pronounced it.
You were one of those people.
And then I remember in high school, someone's like, it's meme. I'm like, what? No. They're like, yeah, it's pronounced meme. And I was like, well, shit. Yeah. I've been saying it wrong. I'll fix it over time. But it took me a bit. I kept reverting back to.
Oh, yeah.
It's like how the creator of GIF is like, it's GIF. And we're like,
the rest of the world's like, you're wrong.
You're wrong. It's GIF.
The universe has decided that you, the creator of this thing, is wrong. We've taken it from you.
We've taken it and we've adapted it into what makes sense for us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
words, man.
Words, man.
I get it.
It's.
I was just
That's what it
wondering.
is.
I was just wondering because I heard it a couple times. And I was like, Alison.
It's manga.
At least you know. At least you know.
I do know how it's supposed to be pronounced, but yeah, like until you and I basically became friends, none of my friends read it. So, and then even then, like if I was having like chats or anything online, or if I was reading that, it was never like vocalized in person, so it was just forever that.
That's fair. It's like reading a fictional character's name and no one, like the authors never said how to pronounce it, and then suddenly it's on a TV show and you're like, oh. Like our one friend was reading the Witcher series, and you know Geralt is spelled Geralt.
Yeah.
And we know how to say it now. Especially because video games. But she's like, I thought it was Gerald.
Oh, 100%. For a long time, because I hadn't watched the show. Like, I put it off for a while, and so there was tons of posts and stuff on Tumblr. And so I'm reading, like, Gerald, Jaskier, Jennifer, and it's like... They're all wrong.
You're like,
fuck.
fuck.
I'm like, who the fuck is Yennefer?
Why does everyone keep saying Yennefer? Who's Yennefer? Who's Geralt?
Yeah. Other weird side tangent, just for fun. I do like the new joke about what the fuck is his name? The guy who actually plays Geralt.
Superman. Fuck his name. I'm so bad.
I can't remember somebody's name on a good fucking day, and I see them every day.
I know. I feel bad. Sometimes I call my friends the wrong name if I'm thinking about somebody else in my head, and it's such a dick move.
You're like, ugh, fuck. But yeah, I've been really enjoying the joke about Henry Cavill being the opposite.
Is it Henry Cavill or Calvill?
Fuck off, girl.
I thought it was Henry Cavill.
It might be Henry Cavill.
Okay, YouTubing it. Nick taught us something. We need to... We can't have this be our thing. Name pronunciation. Top Google search. How to properly pronounce my name.
It's Cavill?
Rhymes with travel.
Well, rhymes with travel.
Exactly.
Travel is pronounced like travel. Travel.
Nick's right.
Travel.
Yeah. Nick
Cavill.
is correct.
Okay. There you go. Let's try again, Alison.
Okay. My favorite thing is how, like, the internet has decided that Henry Cavill is, like, the opposite of cleans up nice, because everybody prefers him when he's dirtier.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's just, like...
Do you know he's played all of the games? Like, he didn't only read the series to get prepared. He played all of the video games.
Yeah. I wish he wasn't apparently such an asshole. Because he's so pretty, but I've heard a lot of not good things about him.
That's so pretty. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just his, like, on-set persona. You know, like how some people, when they work, they come off differently than, like, day to day.
He made some questionable tweets during Me Too, so...
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, so... He is pretty, though.
He looks... I do like him as Geralt.
Yes,
I think
he's very good as Geralt.
I can commend that he's done research into playing a character.
Yes, yeah.
Hands down.
So yeah, there's just a million things that we love, apparently, in this episode, because it was kind of a free-for-all. It was great, though. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad. I had a good time. I talked about things you don't know.
Exactly, yeah. You can find us wherever podcasts can be found. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram at Wench Bench Pod. I actually think you can follow us on Facebook now, too.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
And Tumblr. Did we say Tumblr?
I said Tumblr
We're
already.
on places.
We're in places. All the socials.
Except for Pinterest.
Except for Pinterest.
Or TikTok.
Oh, God.
I don't think that's us.
I'm, like, of the age where I don't understand TikTok, and I feel like I would stand out as not getting it if I got it.
I've tried to be into TikTok, and
it didn't work. That's
it's
okay.
just not my jam.
That's okay. If you want to reach out, you can send us an email at wenchbenchpod@gmail.com. All the art for the Wench Bench was designed by the wonderful Tessa Joyce Riecken. You can find her on Twitter at Werevile. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
It's after he saves like the burning oil rig essentially,
Oh,
and like
that.
all of his clothes are burned off.
That, okay.
And he just comes out of the ocean, and it's like, yay, like Superman has a hairy chest, because why the fuck would he spend time like fucking lasering his chest hair off?
Yeah.
That's how he shaves, with his laser eyes.
I get it. You know
Yeah.
how Wolverine shaves? He doesn't because he's a hairy Canadian. And I
Because he's a
don't
hairy
mind
boy.
it. Schnee!